Hello everyone, I'm the Peculiar Pisces and welcome to my channel. Today is November 25th, 2024, Monday, November 25th, 2024, and this is Flosstube video number 29. I am back with a really happy update, but before that, I'm going to start with some Stitchy mail. Give me just a moment. Okay, so I got two patterns off of Mercari from the same seller, Lavender and Lace. I got the Firefly Fairies, and I got Fairy Dreams. I saw them. They were each $13 a piece. They were sold by the same seller, and I could not resist. I was like, I have to get them. They go so quickly anytime that I ever see them. Okay, so now let's start with project number one, like usual. It is my favorite designer project. Excuse me. My voice sounds a little rough. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah, that sounds a little better. Okay. It is The Castle by Teresa Wentzler. I am doing this on 16 count aida that I hand dyed myself. I finished the stitching on it. I finished the stitching down here in the rocks. So I have moved on to the back stitching. I have this whole, so it started me with white in the dragon's eye. And then it had me doing some color in the dragon's ear over here. And then down here in between the yellow feathers and up here in the yellow feathers. And then I moved on to this middle turret and came down and I did the claw because it's done in the same color as what the castle is. So I'm just working on the castle because this is all the same color right now. And there's just a few more things with this color. Like, I mean, finishing the castle. And then I think I do with this color the blue edge of the feathers here and here. I think that's what's next after I finish the castle part. That's the instructions for backstitching are very specific. How it lists in the order to do them, and I'm just following along in the order. So I started stitching this all the way back. I started the stitching January 9th, and I finished the stitching November 20th. So I started working on the back stitching also November 20th. So for, there it is. So for stitching itself, I ended up doing 3 hours, 1 minute and 20 seconds this week. And it took my total for the project up to 168 hours and 30 minutes and 16 seconds just for the stitching. Now I have started the back stitching, and so far I have put in 5 hours, 1 minute and 25 seconds into the back stitching. So I expect it will be much, much the same. So I did accomplish one of my goals of getting the stitching part done on the Teresa Wentzler before the end of the year. So I did complete that goal, and I'm very, very happy. Now my next goal for it is to complete the back stitching and FO it. I will probably FFO it in a few more, like next year, once um, once it gets closer to the fair, I will probably FFO it because that will be what I end up submitting for the fairs this year. Next year, I mean, for 2025, for 2025's fairs, I will be submitting the Teresa Wentzler for whichever count. In the one fair, I think it's like 14 to 18 count is one category, and then 20 and up is the next category. So this would be for one of the categories at the fair. Um, and then the state fair has a lot of different categories, and I can't remember, so I would have to just play it by ear when that time came. So I'm excited. This one is almost off my plate. As far as the Mirabilia goes, I did order a fabric off of Bestitch Me, and when I placed the order, the website said that turnaround time was between 3 and 12 weeks. So I guess that depends on, I don't know, the color or the amount of other people that have ordered the same fabric, in that time frame. I'm not quite sure what it is, but that is what I have ordered. Well, I ordered it for my Mirabilia, and I'm hoping that I get it before this year is over so that in January, I can just start my Mirabilia fresh because that's the goal, that's the idea. All right, and then and for the Teresa Wentzler, I am no longer using the ballpoint needle. I have switched to a sharper needle for doing the back stitching. I just wanted to point that out because I do love using my ballpoint needles. Project number 2 is Pentecost by Practical Blackwork. It is in my Blackwork / sampler category. I've been working on this all year as well. And this way is up. Okay. So for this one, gosh, the lighting in here is just not great. So for this one, I had started here, and so I was working up in this column, and then I started the design coming down to finish it out. And then I will hop on over into this section in here. This is on 18 count fabric that I also hand dyed myself. It is stitched 1/1. And once the Teresa Wentzler is completely off of my plate, I will just sort of shift my focus to this one. I'd like to try to get this done by the end of the year, but Teresa Wentzler is my primary goal. So this one, I'll be happy as far as I get, but next year I am starting the sampler in January just because I do need me a break from this one. It's beautiful and I love it, but I need a little break. Okay, and then project number 3. Oh, no, I didn't give my times. I'm pretty sure that I only got to work on this one once. Yeah, I only got to work on this one day for about 45 minutes. So it's brought my total project time to 84 hours, 6 minutes, and 47 seconds. Okay, so now for project number 3, it is from Heaven and Earth Designs. It is called Fae Risque, and this is the no background, and the designer is Amy Brown. This is what it looks like. I am doing a conversion in blue, from the red to the blue. Can you even tell if that's red? It's about the same color red as burgundy as like my top. My conversion is in blue, and this is what I printed out from Pattern Keeper. okay, this is the big one. Let me scoot my chair back some. All right. The lighting. That's a little better. Okay, so I am just working. I finished out this top wing that sort of comes down, and I'm starting, the next part of the wing and just coming over. I think I have just these 2 squares to finish out this part of the wing, and then I have to count up to where her hair is. So the stats that I can give you on this are, there's Cat Keeper. Okay. So yeah, I have 2 squares on that row of the wing to finish out the wing. And then above those 2 squares, I have a couple of squares of the hair to get out. But it's really in those 2, so 200 blocks going straight up. The hair is within that section to finish out this page. And that will be 3 pages completed. So I am at, should not have turned my phone. I am now at 10,452 stitches out of 74,797. I am 13.97% complete. So I will also remain working on this for the rest of the year until January, and then in January I'm starting something new. Okay. Oh, and this week I was able to put in 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 8 seconds, putting my total project time to 111 hours, 45 minutes, and 3 seconds. And then dashes there. Okay. So last, but certainly not least, is project number 4, my stash piece. Piece that has been in my possession since about 2002. It is a Plaid Bucilla kit. Donna Dewberry is the designer, and it's called Hummingbird and Floral. I did not use the provided aida. It is still here. I bought some white Charles Craft 14 count from the craft store and then hand dyed it myself. So I had said before that once I was completed with this area, I was going to start working on the back stitching. So that is where I am. So I started up here and I did some stitching down and I outlined these couple of leaves and this pink flower, and I outlined these and this leaf, and I did, not that you can see it like at all, but the white outlines are done inside the hydrangea for the flower petals. I don't know, can you see it? The lighting's just not great here. I think I can see part of a line right somewhere. Oh, I don't know, but I am working on currently I am using this pink color, and I am doing the back stitching in the pink part of the flower. So I believe I've gotten everything from this side done and moved on. Now, I told you before, I ran out of It was this one right here, dark green. Then I ran out of this one right here, the pink. Then I ran out of this one right here, which was a more darker pink. So like these three right here, I ran out of. So I start to do the back stitch along the edges of this leaf. And it's a thick dashed line stitch or symbol. So I'm looking at the key and it says very dark green. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not one of the colors that I've used so far. So I went up to the key above it that has all of the colors, and that was how I listed the colors off onto my floss holder. And none of those are very dark green. And I checked the thread number just in case they decided to call it two different things, and it had a completely different thread number from everything else. That thread was not provided in my kit. Now, before I had told you, I had emailed the company asking about the thread colors, and they had sent me the Bucilla to DMC conversion numbers. So I had to look it up, and it turned out to be DMC 500. Now, I know I had DMC 500 in the Teresa Wentzler because that was part of the dragon. So I went up and grabbed a couple of the whole thread, hank, I don't know. I grabbed a couple off to put on here so that I could have it and I would have that, in the car. But I was like, I have never run out of so much thread in a single kit before. Like, occasionally it's happened that I've run out of like black DMC 310 because they either didn't provide enough or, it was in my earlier years of cross stitching and I would get a knot on the back. I didn't know the handy little secret of sticking the needle inside the knot and, gently pulling and it comes right out. Didn't know that yet. Or maybe it was one of those knots that just wouldn't come out. And so I would just hold it down on the back and stitch over it and just keep going. And it hasn't happened in a really long time that I ran out of a floss color. And that I've run out of 3 colors in one kit just sort of blows my mind. And now there was a whole color that the kit did not provide. And I'm just, was it my kit? Or was it all of the kits? Did I just happen to get the one kit that wasn't kitted up properly? it's it's a little weird. And like, I mean, as I said, in all my years of cross stitching, it's never happened like this before. I sent my BFF a 20-minute rant about, you know, the thread color not even being, a part of the kit. I was like, I can't believe this. Was when I bought this, was the company brand new and they just, sort of forgot a color? Like what happened? I have so many questions that I will never get the answers to. But there we go. So I have worked on this a total of 3 hours, 39 minutes, and 22 seconds this past week, bringing my total time for this project up to 64 hours, 59 minutes, and 0 seconds. So I am steadily rolling along. As I said, for the rest of this year, I will continue working on these. The Teresa Wentzler, though, will be my primary focus. I want to get that one off my plate before 2025 starts. And then once I complete that goal, if I complete it this year, I will start working mainly on the Blackwork. If I get that one finished this year, yay. If not, I'll just take a little break and then I'll pick it back up in February. So I'm still planning on switching out my projects a lot next year. I want to start all 3 of my favorite designer pieces and I want to start all 2 of my Blackwork or sampler, and I want to start 6 wish list pieces, and I want to start at least 3 stash kits, depending on how much of the hummingbird one I get done. But since that one was a stash piece with no real goal, just to get it out of my stash and done, and it's one that I leave in my car, it's not a priority to get it done anytime soon. So I just expect in January I'll start one of the other kits. In February I'll start a second kit. In March I'll start a third, and then in April I'll swing back to this one. So that's just how I sort of plan on doing it, switching out month to month, and then towards the end of the year, I'll probably do a big whip parade to say, like, here's how I did throughout the whole year on these however many projects it is. But we shall see. So my kids are off this whole week for Thanksgiving. Oh, I'm still plugging along on NaNoWriMo. I am currently, as of this morning, 7,568 words out of 80,000 words written. 70,568 out of 80,000. So I am 88% complete with my book that I started writing like 2 years ago. So I'm very happy with that goal. I'm very happy with how the Teresa Wentzler is coming. I feel like I did manage to get a good cross stitch writing balance this week. I did not come down here into the basement. No wire working has been done. No bookbinding has been done. I did get out to Michael's and get a couple of really pretty paper pads. These were on sale for like $4 when I went into Michael's that day, and had like a lot of really pretty papers. And then this was a second one that I got, also on sale for the $4 when I went in, and this one has some of the gold shiny foiling. So that's pretty much been it. Nothing real big going on. So I will see everyone hopefully next week. Is that still November next week? No, next week starts December. So hopefully when I update next week, I will be done with my book, and it'd be really awesome if I were done with this Teresa Wentzler, but I don't think I'm going to be that far along. But I will update everyone, and I will see everyone next week.